This is a 402 of Zohar, Pshat, Rambam, Zion, based in 19th line down on the page, about halfway down the page. There's a parenthesis that says Dalad Av Lamed Gimel, which I assume means Tfusim Acherim Lo Gar Sinon. In other Tfusim don't have it, and it's kind of a line which comes out as cryptic. It's out of nowhere. It doesn't really follow through, but it does the first line which you mentioned previously. Amani Tlas, there are three Yom HaShvi'is. Chad is Mali Shabbos, so the other one is Friday, Erev Shabbos by night. That's the way of putting it. Chad Yom was during the day, but Chad Amdasi, once of the world to come, not Shuddis, the world to come. And evidently, these references reference three important points about Shabbos, but the Zohar doesn't pick up with this, and as I said, it's in parentheses. But the next point does pick up on V'chein Vayikadish Oisoi. Here Vayikadish is also parentheses, but not sure why, because it's referring back to Vayvarach L'kim Es Yom HaShvi'i Vayikadesh Oso. And the Oso here is what the Zohar is going to focus on. And I think it focuses on because it follows up with the word S. And Rishim Bayachai, of course, is the Talmud of Rabbi Akiva, would darshan all the Esim in the Torah. So therefore, it's here too, he would darshan the word S, and we're dashing Oso is referring back to that S. Vayikadesh Oso, L'man Lahu Asad Es Kaimabei, that place where the S is. Actually, that's I'm not sure exactly where to put the Kaim here. That's Kaima Bei Sharia. The S exists and it's dwelling there. Kadein Amar, and it's references the pasuk also Barei So Bes Laveu. So the Davar Melech is driven out of Yerushalayim by Avshalom. So the Kohen Gadol, also if I recall correctly, brings out the Aron with Davar Melech, and Davar Melech says, "No, bring it back to Yerushalayim, and if I'm Zoicha, then of course one is going to bring it back to Yerushalayim as well." Ferrani says it's going to show me himself as Naveu and his place. Yeah, sorry about that. Vocal interruption. So the S, obviously there's Hakadosh Baruch Hu and there's the S, and what's the S? So although Pashut Pshat is going on the Oron, not the Hakadosh Baruch Hu, I think, but whatever it is, the point that was bringing up is also S. Vai Asar Sharian, this place of the S is the place where there is called Kiddushin Le'elu, all the Kiddushin High. For Nafkamina Knesses Yisroel, and it comes out from that place, the Knesses Yisroel. Okay, Lemeheve Lo Tafnuka, to be for it a source of pleasure. Lechem Fanag, interesting term, it was Fanag, it's from Lashon of Tafnukim, right? Tafnuk of Panag, but it's one letter O from Oneg, and maybe this is what the Darshan has. Oneg is Ayin Nun Gimel, and Panag is Pei Nun Gimel. It's Oneg Shabbos. And there's a place, Chav in Shamayim, called S, which is the place which is, close, so to speak, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, from which all these pleasures come forth the Knesses Yisroel to be able to use in this world. It's a special gift, obviously part and parcel of Shabbos in this case, which is Am Yisrael has its capacity to have Tafnukim Ma'adanim and be able to use them L'Shem Shamayim. And the concept of some sort of special quality of Dveikus, which Am Yisrael has, which evidently the nations of the world don't have. It's something which I spoke about, I don't know, recently, I don't know, in the context of the Zohar when it perhaps came up last, but the idea of Kedusha by Am Yisrael and by Umas Olam is different. By Umas Olam, there's only Kedusha of abstinence. And by Am Yisrael, we also have a very strong tradition of Kedusha of abstinence, going back, of course, to the paradigm of Nazir. But there's also a Kedusha of indulgence, which is much more dangerous, much more difficult, and much harder to accomplish Shem Shamayim. And that's what we discussed on Oneg Shabbos and Simchas Yotif, which you don't have to the same extent in other religions, where, again, Kedusha is precious, completely. Like Rashi says, being Parshas Kedoshim, but it's exclusively precious, not, not to do things, Achila and Shasiya and, Simcha and Shem Shamayim. But we have this capacity. And that is, the Zohar picks it and says, Va'az Zohar, this is going, it says, Me'asher Shmeino Lachmo V'yitei Ma'adani Melech. From Usher, his bread is fat, and he is going to give the delicacies of the king. Me'asher Da Kayim Shalim. Usher is a Kayim Shlim, so something which is Mu'ushar, is something which is, says, Derech Emes Bris Shalom, and he references a couple places where this is brought down in Zohar. So there's this idea of something which is mushar, asher, is there's a bris, a covenant, which again, as the sholem b'chino yonim tachtoinim, which allows us to eat l'shem shamayim, and eat to have shmeino lachmo, and vuyitem adani melech, and the Zohar says, a man melech do Knesses Yisroel. So the melech here is Knesses Yisroel. So Knesses Yisroel, of course, is always a connects Am Yisrael to the Shechina, and it's evidently this place S is connected to Knesses Yisrael. And it's a place in which the concept Knesset emerges, the concept in which Knesset connects. But the idea is that Knesses Yisrael is koines, gathers in things of kedusha, and it gathers in kedusha and eats them l'shem shamayim. It's reminiscent of the famous Meir Saschar, which I like quoting from time to time, who says that if a piece of chazer gets butter on your cholent, so you're supposed to eat the cholent, because you have a special unique capacity being mild than tzaitzis of kedusha, which you would not have had when it comes to chazer under normal circumstances. So this idea also is true about Shabbos, of course, and this idea of Knesset Yisrael being kindness, gathering together all these gathered parts of kedusha and being able to use them l'shem shamayim. And if you have this connection with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, now the Bris Shalom, so which of course initially comes from Pinchas, but here we're not referencing him for something at this point. But we have this concept. So then you can have Madani Melech. You can use your Madanim L'Shem Shamayim, and you can use them in the concept of Knesset Yisrael, which is to use them for the purpose of connecting to Kodesh Baruch Hu. For Yoav Kotafin the Almin, and this gives all the luxuries of this world. Chol Kedushin, not the Nafkim Elah, and all the Kedushin which comes out from on high, corresponding to these Tafnukim, which is Mehayas and after they come on from this place. About Dabe Kaddish Oso, is Mekadosh Oso. Oso again refers back to the S. How S Kaima, that an extant S, that connection. Kibo Shabbos. And this there, and continuing on the person, Beinaicha dekula, everything comes to a rest, to equilibrium on Shabbos, because things are being used for the right purpose. The loim tatoim, right? The rest of the week it's a battle, it's a struggle. But today everything is full of this menucha l'shem shamayim. Beishabsa l'naicha, the Shabbos for menucha, when you don't have to battle so much as enjoy what you're doing l'shem shamayim. Okay, now we're going to come on next to Zohar and Shamar, but that's a beautiful idea in and of itself, what you learned today, this idea of Knesses Yisrael being koines and using things l'shem shamayim, and that is the S. And I think that's a lot of times how the S does have that connection, that which is tough to something, connected to something, and allows you to have a way to relate to it.